Hey guys, my name is Courtney-Ann and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making Christmas cookies. They're very perfect for the holidays, but because I do live alone, I did cut this recipe in half. So if you want the full recipe, please check the description box below. So I'm going to be starting out this recipe with my butter and my sugar. I'm using 0.5 cups of butter and 0.5 cups of sugar. Now you're going to want to cream this until it is fluffy. I do not have a cake mixer, so I'm going to be using my whisk. However, after careful consideration, I have linked an Amazon registry below. So if you're enjoying the content on my channel and you want to support me, you can always go ahead and click that link and you can give me anything you want, really. If you don't want to do that, you can support the channel by also subscribing and clicking the like button. So the recipe calls for mixing it in a bowl with a cake mix on a low setting for at least 3 to 4 minutes. However, as I said, I do not have that, so I'm using my whisk. So I'm just going to be doing this for at least 5 to 6 minutes. It was a lot harder to do, but I did achieve the same result. Now you can see how it transitions into a more creamy texture. It's a lot more fluffier, and I kept doing this until it looked like this. As you can see, my partner chipped in because my hand started to hurt, child. So this is what it's looking after whisking it for at least 6 minutes. But like I said, I don't have a cake mixer. So if you realize that you're doing it by hand and it doesn't look like this, you may want to whisk it a little bit more. As you can see, it got brighter in color and fluffier in texture. Next, I'm going to be going in with 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I'm using the Island Spice brand, which is a local brand here in Jamaica. And like I said, I am cutting my recipe in half. So instead of using 2 eggs, I went ahead and I used 1 egg instead. And I'm just going to whisk this in. Now, after this step, you're going to want to sift your flour. When you're making cookies, you want a very smooth texture. You don't want any air pockets, any clumps. And so I'm going to be using 2.5 cups of flour and also a pinch of salt. Now the recipe calls for a half a teaspoon of salt, but since I don't really use that much salt in my food, personally I just went in with a pinch, especially since I'm cutting my recipe in half. Now here's a tip when you're sifting flour. As you can see, the first time I did this, I put way too much flour in my strainer and it was a lot harder to sift it. I think if you put smaller amounts of flour in your strainer, the process works a lot faster, simply because it's easier to move your strainer around without having any spills. It's really just a smoother process and it makes the job get done a lot quicker. When you do it like this, you have to be very careful how you're knocking your strainer because you're gonna have spills. But this is how my flour is looking, no air pockets, no clumps, and this is how it should be. So here's when you're gonna take your cake mixer. Like I said, I don't have one, but take your cake mixer and you're gonna put it on a low to medium setting until your dough begins to come together. I haven't added my second cup of flour as yet, so this is why it looks like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add that now, and then I'm going to mix it in again. And then after that, in the next clip, you're going to see how firm and moisturized my dough is. It's not going to be too dry where it's breaking into pieces, but it's not going to be too wet where it's still sticking to the sides of the bowl. So guys, this is a safe space and I'd like to talk about food openly on this channel. So I'm going to share with you that I actually didn't chill my dough after this, but if you are doing your recipe, please consider doing that. I think it will make the process a lot easier. Because I was cooking something else in my kitchen was very warm, and because of that, the butter in my dough made my dough a lot softer than I would have wanted it to be. But because I was trying to prep for Christmas dinner, I didn't bother to chill the dough. But if you are doing this recipe, definitely chill your dough for at least 30 to 40 minutes in the refrigerator so that your butter can begin to get somewhat dried again and not too moist where your dough is all sticky and soft and stuff like that. It makes it a lot easier to cut out with the mold, and then it also makes it a lot easier when you're moving it around on your board. It makes it a lot easier to roll as well with your rolling pin. So go ahead and chill your dough before doing this step. So as you can see, I floured my board, I floured my dough, and I also floured my rolling pin, and then I divided my dough in half so it was a lot easier to work with. Now you're looking for about 1/4 of an inch of thickness before you take your mold and you cut it out. And this recipe is definitely perfect for other holidays other than Christmas, but it was the holidays and I just got my new cookie cutter set, and these are how my cookies are looking. I'm gonna rest them in my refrigerator for 30 minutes and then I'm gonna pop them in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 5 to 10 minutes. You don't want to overcook these. Now when you're done, you're gonna put them aside to cool, and then we're gonna start on your icing. Now for this step as well, I'm also going to just put it out there. Once you're finished with your icing, also refrigerate it, guys. I was in such a rush to just get everything done that it wasn't really a big deal for me, but for presentation purposes, please ensure that your icing is chilled. Ensure that your cookie dough is chilled before you bake it as well. I think it brings off the presentation a lot more. So for my icing, I'm using 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, again using the Island Spice brand, and 1 tablespoon of light corn syrup. This step is optional, but I do recommend it if you are looking for a very sweet treat. And then you're going to go in also with a teaspoon, or a tablespoon rather, of water. Make sure that your water is also room temperature. If you don't want your icing to be too thick, you can use 2 tablespoons instead. I was looking for a softer icing texture, but if you're not looking for that, stick to the 1 tablespoon. You will be fine. So you see how soft and creamy that is? Definitely put that in your refrigerator to chill if you're looking for a firmer icing texture. It also does make it a lot easier to decorate the cookies because your icing won't be runny and it will be easier to decorate. As you can see, I did not do that, and I'm very open about my cooking experiences on this channel, so next time I will definitely chill my icing first. Like I said, I was cooking my Christmas dinner, so my kitchen was extremely hot. However, for the second batch, I did chill my icing, and these are how they are looking. This is how it came out. They were very sweet, very crunchy, but also soft at the same time. So yeah, guys, that is my first attempt at making Christmas cookies. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you tried the recipe. Don't forget to join the family and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a happy holidays.